always a clause. There's always a reason, but the first thing it starts with is an application, and how you make that application is really going to determine your experience in the business. So if you complete an online app, or if you walk into your bank, you're still going to apply. The problem with that is that it's going to be really pitched off to one person and then off to another person, or information that you get up front may not be factual. Basically, I run into that on a daily basis.
Yeah.
The difference between my personal expertise and my team's expertise is knowing from the front end to the back end, knowing the obstacles, and then being able to look at a customer and say, hey, here are your options, A, B, C, and this is what you can do. That is a full consult. You might only have one option, but if I can give you one to get you out of the situation that you're in and pave that, way for you, that's what my job is. And to get it to fruition with under 30 days or less, that's the goal. It's not hanging around 45 days. What's going on? It's smooth process, smooth closing, come up with the documents. We'll take care of the rest.
Yeah, I like it. It's kind of like a veteran quarterback that's seen it before. He's walked up to the defense. He's seen the safeties. If there's one deep, there's two deep. He knows what type of coverage he has. So the same thing is true with Ruth and her team. She's seen it before. She's dealt with the different scenarios, and she's able to read the defense, so to speak. She's able to read what is going to come, and then knowing what the options are, knowing what the audibles are. You're going to make a change. Sometimes you're going to say, oh well, we thought it might go this way, but now we're going to call an audible. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's just like you said, defense, whatever the issue is. I'll give you an example of a closing that I'm having today, as a matter of fact.
Yep.
This was a guy who owns a home and it's unrepaired sinkhole.
Okay.
And so his insurance was like, $4,700 a year.
Wow.
And because it's an unrepaired sinkhole.
Yeah.
And he was sitting on the equity in the home. So rather than, try to finance this on his own or get a high interest rate loan to do that, we just did a cash out refi. We went ahead and fixed the home. It dropped his premium to $1,300.
Wow.
So, when you actually look at the numbers and then look at what it does to regain your value back to, what's considered normal, because appraisers are not going to, as a rule, take any hits against a repaired sinkhole because they're very common here. Mm-hmm. You live in Florida. We live on sand base. So, I personally would feel more comfortable knowing the thing's underpinned,
Right.
But if it is a sinkhole property, I don't know very many lenders out there that's willing to tackle that.
Right. So that's a niche within the mortgage industry. I'm just curious, what was the LTV on that, the loan to value?
Well, I could have went all the way up to, his 80% cash out, but I didn't need it.
I
had, So,
interesting.
And that was a conventional loan.
Okay.
So if it was an FHA loan, I could do it in the case of a purchase, I could do it in a 203K. Mm-hmm. So, they could buy the home, get a good deal on the home. We have all the vendors, that we need for whatever repairs.
Yep.
Get a bid, do the loan. It gets, we close it, they own it, we do the work, get it, So there's many ways to buy, repaired sinkhole home, not like it was in the day when
repaired
it cost
sinkhole.
$400,000 to fix it.
Yeah. They're able to do it, more efficiently, and there's better technologies now. By the way, if you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We're talking with Ruth Watkins, TeamGoLoans.com, local mortgage lender, expert contributor here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we want you working, with our expert contributors. These are folks that can save you money. Veterans, especially, we offer with Platinum MVP Realty, we offer a quarter to a half a point rebate. That's where we're taking our commission from our pocket, and we're saying, hey, we're going to give this back to the veteran. Just a small gesture that we can do for the folks that served our country.
Yeah, and we do that together, so that's double it.
Yeah.
That's double it. Automatic serve and support benefit. And that qualifies for multiple things. multiple, nurses, police officers, veterans.
Yeah, first responders.
That's right.
Pretty much anybody that's in that class, we'll definitely take extra care of you. So anybody we'd love for you to have them reach out. ConsumerQB.com. We'll take care of them there. Now, I want to spend a little bit of time here talking about some of the misnomers in the mortgage space, and then I think one of the biggest misnomers is down payment. I don't have enough money saved for down payment. There's some creative ways that we've actually talked about on this show. Setting up a GoFundMe page. And whenever you have your birthday or your holidays come around, instead of getting the sweater that you wear once and then it goes in the drawer, why not send that link to people and say, hey, I know we have this coming up, this event, but why don't you fund me to help me buy a house?
Yeah, well, the thing with gifts, and that's a really kind of ingenious idea, right? But with guidelines about them coming from a disinterested third party or someone who's related to you or like family. So if you're going to do it that way, do the GoFundMe page, take the cash, stick it in the bank, season it for 2 months, get 2 clean months bank statements, and that way it's your business and no one else's.
Yeah, and when you say seasoning, we're not talking about table salt and pepper. We're talking about the term means that it has to be in the bank for a couple of months.
That's right. So that you have 2 clean statements without reflecting a large deposit.
Right. Large deposits is what that underwriter is going to look for. So down payment, we're talking, are there any 100% financing programs out there now?
Well, sure. You have the qualifying programs, which is the VA and the USDA.
Okay.
Then we have what's called a power purchase 2% grant, which goes with the Home Possible Freddie Mac loan, which is a 3% down payment. Now, this is kind of strange because you have to actually be careful with those kind of programs because you can have a 2% grant, but the rate is not as attractive. So, sometimes what you can do is just take that same Home Possible loan that's a 3% and go into the normal product and bump up the rate a little bit higher, which isn't as high as the grant product loan, and give back a rebate of 2%.
Right.
So that you can help with closing costs. So really, I think the lowest down payment programs today are the 3% and 3.5%, unless you're in a specialty program like VA or USDA.
Right.
So and then obviously you have down payment assistance programs for people that are first time home buyers, and there are going to be different qualifying parameters on that as well. So there is a nook and cranny and nuance on everything that you do. So being counseled by someone who understands every single one of those products is going to give you every single option you can. You just have to be able to come forward and say, all right, look, I have the income, but I don't have the cash. What do I need to do?
Right.
And then we get you on the path to doing it.
Yeah, you have that conversation, you open up the dialogue, and then, and I think a lot of it is just kind of going back to, setting a goal, just having something that you're setting a goal. Maybe you're writing it down in your journal, you're thinking about it more often, and then you make the call. You just make that first call, and then you say, oh, wow, because maybe you talk to Ruth and you say, oh, well, I thought I had to have, $10,000-$15,000 down, but I only actually need $3,000 to $5,000, and that's more attainable.
In most cases, you do not need reserves. So, I can't tell you the number of clients that I've worked with successfully very easily when we set a goal.
Right.
And we said, okay, this is what we need to do. This is how much money that you're making, and this is how fast that we can get there.
Yeah.
And by the way, do you have something of value that you would want to, sell that you're not using?
Right.